As far as the right hand, I like to anchor it on this section of the bridge, and I like the movement to come from the wrist. There are many players that do variation to this, and it works for them, but for me, movement from the wrist is the one that I prefer. Like, of course, there are no rules that are carved in stone, but something like may work, or but in general, I would say like 80% of the time, the hand is pretty much anchored there. The picking hand, the right hand, is the one that actually has a lot to do with the tone and the dynamics of what you play. Every segment of gear that we use is very important, of course, starting from the pedals, the amps, the tubes, the strings, and the pick, of course. But the most important part is the actual technique and the actual dynamics that we get from the fingers and from the actual contact with the string that we define with our hands. In the case of the right hand, you have to really determine the level of the picking attack that you want to attack the string with. Even on a very high gain tone, you can achieve like a softer kind of a attack if you just hit the strings lighter. With a stronger attack, it would be like. So one should explore the dynamic range that fits his own style and the way that he prefers to express himself, be it either more aggressive or something soft like. I will address this matter more later on in the video, but I would just like to say that one can achieve a lot of different sounds by varying the attack or by muting the strings while playing. Like. You notice that in the first example, the strings were more open, while in the second one they were more like muted. There will be more talk about this in the sequencing section. A very important thing is to analyze how one should hold a pick while playing this kind of techniques. I personally like to hold my right hand closed while I play, so that my fingers are not really hanging out so much or waving. And my palm is pretty much parallel to the strings. The way that the pick is lying on my finger is just on the tip of my index, and then I'm pressing down on it with my thumb. Pay attention that the tip of the pick doesn't stick out too much. It should be just as much that it's not touching the flesh of your finger, yet that it's not too far out that it gets like unstable and soft with the contact of the string. I like to make the contact with the string on a slight angle, so that my pick is not fully parallel to the string, but it's going in a slight angle back and forth like this when I pick. So it looks something like this. Another important thing not to forget is try not to hold the pick too strongly. You just need enough power that it's under control at every moment when you play, yet that it doesn't get too like lightly held that it falls out of your hand or that you miss a string or whatever. So you have to find that right balance where you have enough power to do like exercising of your whatever phrasing you want to do in a right and proper way. Now, if I speak about the attack, the very attack of the pick on the string, I don't really like a very, very light attack when I play. I prefer to have a little bit of more like treatment, almost, well, not as if it was an acoustic guitar, but I really like to get some volume out of the, so that you have like a healthy response from the guitar. Not too hard, not like in a way that you're going to break a string or something, but like you have to find a balance that you have a lot of power in your playing, and that you don't just like very slightly, touch the strings, unless there's a specific technique that requires that kind of approach. So this is how very light picking would sound. This is like the balanced type that I'm using. And this would be like with a much stronger attack. So find the balance that works best for you, but my advice would be to like invest in a little stronger attack.